Hey everyone. It's been about a week and a half since Scaramouche's release. People have been experimenting with some builds, and today I want to share a tier list for his weapons. I will explain my reasoning for each weapon briefly and go more in detail for some specific weapons. Let's get started. So starting off with the 3-star weapons. The first 4, don't use these, they don't have good stats. As for the last 3-star weapon here, Twin Nephrite. This weapon is decent on him, it gives crit rate and a decent base attack. You should only be using this if you don't have access to 4 or 5-star weapons. Otherwise, this weapon gets replaced later. Next weapon, onto the 4-star weapons, Blackcliff. So this weapon is pretty good on him because it gives a lot of crit damage. The passive also gives him an attack percentage buff when you kill monsters. While it's not useful against bosses, it's still a pretty good passive. This weapon is really good on him. And then Dodoco Tales. This weapon gives a charge attack bonus as well as an attack percentage buff. It does have a low base attack, but he can still utilize the buffs that it provides. Not everyone has this weapon, so it's probably not going to be seen that much, although it's still a decent weapon to put on him. Next we have Eye of Perception. So this weapon has the same exact stats as Dodoco Tales. The only difference is that the passive is a little bit less useful on him. You should only use this weapon if you don't have anything else to use. The next weapon, Favonius Codex. Not really that useful on him because he doesn't really want energy. If you want a 510 base attack weapon, there are other options. Next, Frostbearer. You need Cryo to take advantage of the passive on this weapon, and we don't have a Cryo Catalyst yet, so I'm not sure why this weapon exists. It's not really that good on Wanderer, don't put it on him. The next, Fruit of Fulfillment. This weapon's not that great on him because it's more for swirls. It doesn't really help him with his main DPS damage as raw animo damage. I would not put this weapon on him. Next weapon, Hakushin Ring. While it does have a high base attack, it also requires you to run Electro in your party in order to take advantage of the passive. It's not that great of a weapon on him. Next, Mappa Mare. This weapon provides Elemental Mastery, which is useful on him if you play him with Swirl, but generally speaking you're not going to be using him with Swirl, so it's not that great of a weapon. If you are using him for Swirl, then it's a pretty good weapon. Next, Oathsworn Eye. This weapon gives a high base attack as well as attack percentage as the other stat. It's a pretty good weapon on him. The energy it provides is okay, he can use it, but it's not something that he's really too focused on. A pretty decent weapon on him. Next, Prototype Amber. Just don't use this weapon, it's garbage on him. If you're trying to meme and say it's his best weapon, it is his best weapon. But otherwise, just don't use it. Next, Royal Grimoire. So this weapon is pretty good because it gives a high base attack as well as some ramping crit rate. It is a Star Glitter exchange weapon, so it can be a little bit difficult to get, but if you do use it on him, it's pretty good. The next weapon, Sacrificial Fragments. Not really that good on him because it has a low base attack. He doesn't really need resets on his E. It's just a weapon that you shouldn't really use on him unless you're playing him with Swirl maybe. Otherwise, not that good on him. The next weapon, Solar Pearl. This is a Battle Pass weapon, but if you manage to get it on him, he can utilize the buffs really well. It's a very, very good weapon on him. So next, the Widsith. This is his best 4-star weapon, and it also outperforms some other 5-stars. The amount of buffs that this weapon provides is a lot, and it's just really good on him. Don't sleep on this weapon. Next, Wandering Evenstar. So just like the other B tier weapons, it's still usable on him, but not ideal. He doesn't really care too much about Elemental Mastery. Not a terrible weapon on him, but not that good either. Next, Wine and Song, the last 4-star weapon. Just like Favonius Codex, the energy recharge is not that useful on him. Passive does provide a little bit of attack percentage and some stamina reduction, but that's not really that helpful on him. I would not really use this weapon on him. Now onto the 5-star weapons. The first one is 1,000 Floating Dreams. So just like the 4-star weapons with Elemental Mastery, this is basically the 5-star version of it. The only reason why I'm placing it higher is because the passive is a little bit more useful on him, but other than that, it's just a decent weapon on him. It's not the greatest, but it's not terrible either. You can run this on him. Next, Everlasting Moonglow, Kokomi's Donut. So while the healing bonus is useless on him, the weapon still has a 608 base attack, which is pretty high, as well as also buffing his normal attack damage based on his max HP. It's not a terrible weapon on him, but it's not that good either. You should run this if you don't have anyone else to put this on. So next, Kagura's Verity. This weapon is meant to buff elemental skill damage, which is not helpful for Scaramouche. However, it does have a lot of crit damage, so it's a pretty good weapon on him. Next weapon, Lost Prayer. So this weapon gives a lot of crit rate and it complements his playstyle. Combining this crit rate with his Ascension crit rate, as well as running a cryo member in your party and getting the 20% crit rate buff, he can reach over 70% crit rate for free. So this way you don't have to worry about crit rate in your substance, you can focus on crit damage. This is one of his best weapons. Next, Memory of Dust. So a lot of people don't like this weapon because of the shielding mechanic, but I think it's pretty good on him because I see a lot of people running him with a shield anyway, and since he has pretty high scalings, the attack percentage buffs that he gets from this is really strong, and it gives him a lot of damage. Next, Skyward Atlas. So just like Memory of Dust, he can take advantage of the high amount of attack that he gets from this weapon, and the elemental damage bonus that Skyward Atlas provides is really nice on him. This is a generally good weapon to use on him. And last, we have his signature weapon. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that because I'm probably going to get it wrong, but everything about this weapon complements his playstyle, gives him crit damage. It's his signature weapon. If you have it, use it. It's good. So this is my tier list for Scaramouche's weapons. Weapon strength can vary based on what party you run him in, but I believe this is the general strength of each weapon. If you agree or disagree, let me know. Subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.